Hi, ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Marcus here again. Before I go to bed tonight, I was thinking about you, as always, and I was touched with the Spirit to address this concern, a subject matter that I call Hope of and for Life. I was thinking about this world in which we live in. You know, we as individuals have our own ideas about what this world is, what our nation is, and what our role is in it, and really the condition of this nation. And it kind of differ depending upon who we are and what we've been exposed to. But for me, when it comes down to the truth about why the things are the way they are and what is required to make a change, if there's going to be a change, what that might be. And I want to remind you, my friends, that evil has been running this country and the world for quite some time. I want to say it again. Evil has been running this country and the world for quite some time. I'll give you an example. We talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. represented what people know of Dr. King, love. To the extent that he was willing to give up his life for the love for which he advocated. And one day, some evil found a body with a gun in his hand and found his way to pull a trigger that took Dr. King's physical life. That was evil. And evil was doing what evil does. Now, Dr. King had a lot of followers, had a lot of people who believed in him, a lot of people hoping that this might be the time that change is going to come. And it was at the same time that there was another young man named Malcolm X, a strong young man who had gone through a lot of stuff, and yet prepared. He didn't prepare, but was prepared by the Spirit of life, that during these moments that he had to endure would teach him a message that he and he alone would be willing and do to carry forward. And he had a lot of followers. And because of the message he carried, as Dr. King had a lot of enemies. Enemies who were propelled by evil. And on a given day, there was a time when evil found somebody to present itself in. And on that day, this magnificent, wonderful soldier of love for humankind was brought down. Yes, my friends, were brought down. And there's another one that I'd like to share with you by the name of JFK, John F. Kennedy, President of the United States. And I bring him up because we know that Dr. King had a lot of friends. Dr. King had a lot of followers. Dr. King had a lot of people that hoped that his dream would be realized. There were those who cared for the message that Malcolm X brought. Followers, people who wanted things to happen, who were praying for change, all the way with Dr. King, all the way with Martin. I mean, the numbers were great. But when it comes down to John F. Kennedy, the President of the United States, I would think that if you put all of the people, fans that Dr. King and Malcolm had together, they would not equal in number the people who cared and respected John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, who had a vision, the same kind of vision, perhaps, not the same one, but the same kind as King and Malcolm. But nonetheless, it was as fantastic enough till evil couldn't take it. And evil marked and found someone on a given day, given period of time, to pull a trigger and took that man out of here. Can you believe it? This is what evil does. Yet, my friends, I want you to know that truth, yes, it refuses to sit still. And it speaks to us who did nothing, who are doing nothing to carry forward the ambition of those who gave their lives, those who died because they cared for the people. We, my friends, it speaks volumes of our role in the demise of these heroes of life. It shows our roles against truth by our complacency that was driving us then and is driving our conduct even today. As a people, as citizens, we still perform as we have been instructed and as we are expected to. For the truth, which so many have died, not only is not in practice, is not even talked about or seriously discussed. Yet, we claim to be on that road. We, Christians, and so many others, we're on that way to heaven. Yet, the evidence, our records indicate that we rejected heavenliness at every attempt and at every turn. I guess the message, what I'm trying to say to all of us today, is that those three men that I mentioned to you were cut down because they cared for the American people. They cared because that care that they had for the American people, it was not restricted. It was universal. It was the same care and compassion for people all over the land. And they were taken out. And right today, in our midst, we have a man that does not care about anyone but himself. And he's building up and lifting up evil to succor all Americans that will, to stand up and put that badge on them, evil. And they, by the millions, are standing up with them, willing to commit any evil act he says that he instructs them to do. And what? He gets the privilege of walking around, going around, doing things, making rallies, doing what evil does out there publicly. Nobody is shooting him. In fact, he is the #1 leading candidate for the Republican position for President of the United States. This evil, this big ball of evil, this big ball of ugliness, of death, of lies, and every evil thing that you can think of is being honored by America. And those who say we will not, we can't stand and we will not accept him, yet, my friends, because of the evilness that we have been indoctrinated with, the American people still cannot do the right thing. They still cannot walk the path of Dr. King, Malcolm X, and John F. Kennedy. They still submit to the murderers of life. And who are they? It's you, who will not stand up for what's right. And I mean, I'm not talking about playing games. I'm not talking about just talking. I'm talking about walking. So I guess this message was important. It was telling you, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who think you got it going on, you don't. And I say that because all I got to do is look around, the pain and suffering. You, my friends, according to, well, I'm not going to tell you on this video. Check the one following, or the one before.